I was cold. We were in the middle of a playoff series, and all this noise here kind of reminded me of going in to play Edmonton. And that brings back bad memories, because when I hear that music, I also had the sense that back then, against a team that was just a terrific team, they just used to beat us like a drum. They were a lot better than we were. And that's what it sounded like in Edmonton. And it was sort of like the sound of impending doom pounding in your ears. But after the third game, we were down 3-0, and my coach, Bob Johnson, called me into his office. Now, I would have made even money when he called me into his office that I was going to go grab the popcorn, you're headed up to the press box, you're not playing tonight. Instead, he looked at me and said, Meredith, I got a job for you tonight. Actually, I got a choice of jobs for you tonight. You got two choices. One is take care of Gretzky. The other is take care of Messier. And I really had to resist the notion of looking at him and saying, are you sure you got the right guy? Because he was looking at me and telling me that my choice at that point in time, and for those of you that aren't great sports fans or don't know kind of ancient hockey history, this is like putting me right now to talk social media on national television with Mark Zuckerberg, or in Messier's case, it's like, tick off Liam Neeson in one of those Taken movies and he chases you down and kills you before you're done. Those were my two choices. And somehow I had to, in that moment, call on a lot of stuff that I'd learned along the way and try not to just melt down and get so preoccupied with the notion of making a fool of myself on national television that I could actually go out and do my job. And some of that is just what you bring to the table when as you've moved forward, as you've trained yourself, and you've figured out what it is you want to do, and how it is you can have faith in yourself to produce in those type of circumstances. And that training as an athlete did a lot for me when I left that world and showed up in another world, in a business world, where you would end up in situations where you're sitting across the table from somebody. And in the situation that I bring to mind is I was a year or so into my job at Solomon Brothers. I just got out of the Harvard Business School, and I was called upon to tell my company, which sold a lot of securities in this other company, to tell the second richest man in Australia, or to tell our investors what the second richest man in Australia's company was worth. And he'd taken us over there, and he'd showed us his yacht, and he'd showed us his ranch, and he'd showed us his television station, he'd showed us his brewery. What's it actually worth? Because they produced all of these income statements that said they were rich and terrific and all of this stuff. And so two young guys, we sat down and we valued each one of the companies, sat down and looked, and this company was worth billions and billions of dollars in the market. We went through all the math, checked it 42 times, and decided the guy was bankrupt. Now, when you do that, and you're a first-year guy in, and you're going to sit down in front of a bunch of partners, and the guy who ran the Australia office, whose entire livelihood depended on this one individual, you better be pretty comfortable if you're going to tell the second richest man in Australia he's bankrupt. But we had to do that. And as you leave this place, and you try to figure out how you're going to do the amazing things that I'm betting a lot of people in this room are going to do, part of it's having the balance when you get to that point in your life to have faith in what you're doing and not be scared by the guys that in theory you should be scared by, and not believe in whatever the conventional wisdom is that people are putting in front of you.